everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. A huge decision for Ineos, a huge decision for Ruben Amorim. Where do they go in the transfer market? Do they go all in on a risk signing of Benjamin Sesko and Ollie Watkins, both risky for different reasons, or do you go and take the money that you're going to get in for Anthony, for Garnacho, for Sancho, hopefully, and put it in to a transformative signing, in my opinion, and go and test the waters for Baleba at Brighton? I know what I'd be doing, and my opinions have changed throughout this transfer window. As the transfer market changes, I feel like you have to adapt, and I think Manchester United are going to do that, and I think Amorim has dropped some hints as well in what he wants. Let's just say Amorim's been very vocal about needing pace and legs in the midfield. It was much improved having Man Utd Ugarte in the pivot against West Ham, having number 10s that actually track back, work hard, win the ball back in front of them to take some of the workload off them in Bruno and Cunha. I think it was the most balanced midfield we've had in a long time, but over the course of the season, is that enough? If anything happens to Manu and Ugarte, you could be looking at a really shaky midfield, because we've tried multiple combinations and we've not really managed to see one stick. I think Ugarte and Manu are the best ones for now. I think they're the best pairing. I think they complement each other really well. I think they've got a lot of potential in them. But I think Manchester United's priority right now should be a midfielder. And welcome back to Chicago, everyone. We are live in Chicago. We are live from the I.O. roofscape at the Godfrey Hotel in Chicago. A beautiful setting. It's about 9:30 here. I'm going to explain why we're live at 9:30 in a second. And I just want to say shout out to this hotel and to the roofscape, the I.O. roofscape in Chicago, because it is brilliant. I mean, the drinks are fantastic, the location, the backdrop is amazing. They've looked after us super well. They've been nothing but generous, and thank you for letting us film our content and connect to our viewers from this location. And yeah, welcome back to Chicago. Welcome everybody to the live show. If you just tuned into our live show, hence why it's now on at 9 p.m, welcome back. I didn't know until after the show the connection dropped out for about 10 or 15 minutes, which means only 9 minutes of the show actually recorded. So people waking up all around the world, or people who, you know, were watching live, didn't actually get to see the whole insight of what was being talked about and didn't get to catch up on what we were talking about. So I thought, you know what, even though I've just gone and spoke my heart out, spoke my opinions for the last half an hour, I'm going to do another show, because I was the one who I messaged Mark earlier today and I said, look, I need to do a live stream tonight. I've got a lot to say. My opinions are changing. Being out on the US tour, when you actually hear in person, you know, when you're watching the training up and close, when you're seeing the vibes, when you're hearing, you know, stuff in and around the club, sometimes, you know, your opinions can change. I mean, yours might be changing at home as well, just through kind of following along with the content and following along with the tour. And I absolutely do believe United need a striker. But I think with what's left on the market and what position United are in financially and where we're at as a club and what Amorim's priorities are, I think we should pivot, and that's why the thumbnail is change of plan. I honestly do believe that we should pivot now and go for a midfielder, and I'm going to list quite coherently, hopefully, the reasons why I think we should do that. I still think we need a striker. I think we go all in for a striker next summer. I think we go for the next Isak, the next, you know, Dockeres, the next whoever you want to talk about, because there will be more names. Ekitike next summer. I think what's left on the market now, as much as I want Ollie Watkins, and you guys know that, I just don't think United are going to go there. I don't think United are going to pay 55 million, which is what Aston Villa want. They want 60 really, but maybe negotiate it down 50, 55 million for a player that's currently 29 and 30 in December. As much as Amorim wants it, as much as I want it, as much as a lot of you guys want it, and I do think it would be transformative, and I do think he would greatly improve us. I don't think Ineos want to do that. It's not their model. They want to invest in younger players that have, you know, sell-on value, that are going to give them a number of years. And Watkins isn't that. On the other hand, with Sesko, you're facing huge competition from Newcastle. It's risky. He's inexperienced. He's not got experience in the Premier League. And although he's got high levels of potential, I actually don't think he's a finished article, and I don't think he's the right fit for Manchester United right now. Do you risk all that money, 70 million Leipzig are talking, on another young striker that might need years to develop and might be being brought in too soon? So that's the question for you guys. Get voting in the poll. Would you rather still go for a striker, or would you rather pivot and have a chance at getting Baleba? Now, I've got some different bits of news to bring in to kind of back this piece up, because, you know, we want to back it up with a little bit of news, a bit of mainly opinion based, to be honest with you, because I'm seeing a few things now that has opened my eyes to what could potentially be next season, and I really kind of want to get into it. There's not long left of the transfer window. The Premier League season will kick off before we know it, and I want this team firing on all cylinders at its best possible. Firing at its best possible capacity, and I think to do that we should probably be looking to bring in a midfielder. And there's nothing wrong with pivoting and changing your plan and admitting, okay, maybe we didn't go about the striker situation in the best way earlier on in the window. Delap's gone, Ugarte is gone, Ekatike's gone, Crystal Palace don't want to sell Mateta, Ollie Watkins is too expensive, Sesko's too much of a risk. We're going to go and back Amorim and get him a midfielder for the next decade at this club. We're going to go and get him a player that is everything you want, a complete midfielder for an Amorim system that is super young, not going to be on a high wage, and genuinely I think could be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League for years to come. I genuinely do believe that about Baleba from what I've seen of him. Ever since he started playing for Brighton, I think the first game I saw Baleba play, I literally said, who is this kid? Like, where have they found another one from? Like, where have they gone and found this kid from? Because they keep producing this talent over and over and over again. And he's really exciting. And there's some good news for Manchester United about how they could go and get him. And how, even though it looks like a very expensive transfer, and it would be expensive, Brighton would want a good fee for him. In other areas, we could save money, and the wages that he would be on would be beneficial. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back, and make sure you get voting in the poll, striker or Baleba. I'm going to get my voting straight away, and I'm going to go with Baleba. We've got 52% for a striker and 47% for Baleba right now. So it's super close, super tight. If you are voting for striker, if you're voting for Baleba, please comment your reasons why, because I'm about to give my reasons, and this is a community show. And I want to get your reasons in as well, and maybe you can, sway my mind a little bit. Maybe I can sway yours. So let me start off. This is what I tweeted straight after the game last night. And I wanted to bring this in because the cogs have been turning for a while now. The cogs have, honestly, ever since the Leeds game. Europa League final, I knew we needed a midfielder, but I was kind of just turning a blind eye to it. I thought it could wait, and then the Leeds game, when I saw Casemiro and Bruno again together in the pivot, I thought, this is not going to work next season. It's just not. Casemiro and Bruno is not going to work together in a midfield pairing for an Amorim system over the course of a season, a Premier League season. It's just not got all bases covered. There's not enough legs in there. There's not enough positional discipline. There's too many turnovers, lose the ball way too much in there, and there's too much space. There's way too much space. It's just not going to work. We saw Bruno Fernandes play yesterday much closer to goal, and he was better. I thought, well, let me read out your tweet, my tweet, because this kind of summarises it. So, I said, Manu and Ugarte is our best midfield pairing. A breath of fresh air seeing Cunha and Bruno ahead of them, pressing and working back relentlessly. It helped Manu and Ugarte to not be overloaded, and therefore you see a better performance from them. I think it will be a rotating front three of Cunha and Mbeumo and Bruno next season, with Xerxes and Ahmad also being able to come into that. And of course, I still believe an addition of an Ollie Watkins, of a Sesko, of a Mateta does improve this Manchester United side, but I still think without signing a striker, we can score goals. Bruno Fernandes has played false nine really well in the past for Manchester United. Cunha has played there before and can play there, and Mbeumo's played there before and can play there. Don't count out Joshua Xerxes. I know he's been injured for the first period of the tour, which is a little bit concerning, but I thought he was really kicking on before he got that hamstring injury last season. And I think with Cunha and Mbeumo behind him playing that false nine-esque role, I really wouldn't count him out. I think he's really going to kick on next season. I do think there will still be goals in that Manchester United side. You look at Bruno's numbers, you look at Cunha's numbers, you look at Mbeumo's numbers. There is going to be goals there. Anything happens to Manu or Ugarte, curtains in the midfield. It is. They are our most balanced pair, and it was really nice to see how much they've come on. Ugarte looks like he's been training and working hard, and clearly had a lot of coaching by Amorim and his coaching team. He was talking about that to us on the United stand. Make sure you check out the interview if you haven't already. His English has improved massively, and apparently his work rate and his commitment is second to none. that's what you want to see, especially from your young players. People forget, I think Ugarte is like 24, 23, like still a young player. And Mainu genuinely looks, we saw him up close in person at that open training. Mainu looks shredded, absolutely shredded. His close control is immaculate, and Amorim has talked him up massively, says how much talent there is, but there's stuff that they need to work on together. And I genuinely do believe that he's got a big future. I think Amorim just sees how big of a talent he is, and he's pushing him to the absolute maximum physically, and also maybe being a little bit more proactive considering his talent there in the midfield. So say if you did have Acuna and Bruno ahead of them two, it's more balanced. You've got ball winners in there that are going to work back in Acuna and Bruno, and Bumo's a ball winner as well. He's going to work back. And then you have that floating number 9 that's going to be Xerxes, Acuna and Bumo, and you can all kind of rotate, and there'll be a lot of link-up play. And Højlund, you know, Amorim still seems to believe in him. Whether that's just kind of talking him up for his confidence, let's see. I do believe Højlund probably should have been sold this summer, and we should have invested into a striker. But when you pay 72 million for a young player that isn't proven, these are the risks you take. And that's why, right now, to read out a comment by Rio Ferdinand that really kind of did resonate with me. It really did, right? I'll read this out now. And people in the comments are saying, so we're loaded now. I'm not saying we're loaded, but I'm going to tell you where the money's going to come from in a second. I'm going to explain it. Let me get there. So, Rio Ferdinand said, so if I got the money for the 4 players that are surplus to requirements now, would I get a number 9 or would I go and get Baleba? Would I go and get a number 9 that I'm not sure about, who's a bit young and inexperienced, or would I get Baleba with Premier League experience and know what he can do here? I'm going for Baleba. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go for Baleba. I think he'll have a huge impact on this squad, on this team. You free up a few people in the midfield area as well. Have a little less responsibility defensively, because I think he's all action and can do it all. And I don't always agree with everything Rio Ferdinand says, but I think he's absolutely bang on the money. Baleba is an all-action midfielder that I think is tailor-made to an Amorim system. Athletic, physical, good on the ball, great at pressing, good positional awareness. He's just everything. I think he complements Ugarte, I think he complements Mainu, I think he complements Bruno, I think he'd complement most of our players. Again, he's not the finished article. You are going to have to pay a big fee for him. There is rumours that Brighton want more for Baleba than what they got for Caicedo, which is impossible for Manchester United to do, considering how much Chelsea paid for Caicedo. Kind of ruined the market in that sense. But who have Brighton sold this summer for massive money? They usually sell at least one. They've had Caicedo over the years, they've had Cucurella, McAllister wasn't huge money because he had a release clause. There's been more players that they've sold that for big money in there. I don't think they've sold anyone apart from Estepinian this summer. So they might be willing to negotiate. And one thing that does play into Manchester United's favour is Carlos Baleba, I had a check before, he's on 12.5 grand per week at Brighton. Now I think that's another signal that Manchester United should act now, capitalise on that, before Brighton offer him a new deal in the season and you struggle to get him out of there. Because 12.5 grand a week, I think if you go to Brighton and say, look, we've got this amount of money, we really want to sign Baleba, he wants to come to us, you take his wage from 12.5 grand a week to a similar wage to what, say, Lenny Yoro's on, about 120 grand a week, I think that is. I think Baleba absolutely wants to join Manchester United, absolutely wants to take that step. And okay, Brighton might well play hardball. They are super difficult to negotiate with, but I think you at least try. I think Baleba's that transformative that you at least give it a go. Because, and people are asking where you get the money from. Well, here's a couple of reports that have come out, right? First of all, Amorim has spoken multiple times since, you know, the touring has begun about how we need pace and legs, and the midfield, you know, has been an issue. I think we started to solve that by playing Mainu and Ugarte there in the last pre-season game against West Ham. I think it was much more balanced, and I hope to see that kick on again on Wednesday when we play against Bournemouth. But also you've got this coming out as well. Al Nassr are interested in signing Anthony. Al Nassr signalled a purchase offer for the player, but has competition from European teams. Man United have asked for 50 million. Imagine if I don't think we'll get 50 million for Anthony. I don't think United should be greedy, because let's be honest, we would have been happy with 35. But imagine you get 40 for Anthony. You get 40 for Anthony. You get 40 for Garnacho. I would say 50, but I think it's probably going to be around 45 max right now. You then got 85 million pounds. I know it's not all usable because of, you know, amortisation and balancing the books, but Garnacho is pure profit. He is. And you look at what we spent this summer. Okay, yeah, we're not cash rich. We have a very poor cash flow right now. But we're paying Cunha in instalments. We're paying Mbumo in instalments. We have still got money to pay this season on. We have still got a lot of room in terms of PSR and FFP this summer. We have. It's the cash flow that's the issue. So if you got a deal structured to put forward to Brighton that was quite a low, quite a low initial payment for Baleba, I genuinely do think like there could be some sort of wiggle room potentially. I think you at least try. In life, you never know unless you give it a go. You never know. You don't. If you don't ask, you don't get. And if you can convince a player to make it clear to Brighton that he wants to move, you never know what could happen. And what are the alternatives? United still have got to spend in this transfer window. And Mbumo and Cunha, brilliant signings, but it's not enough for Amrim's first proper summer window. It's just not. Dorgu and Heaven are looking like good signings in January. I was very suspect of Dorgu, but I think he looks transformed, and I can really see the potential there with him coming into the summer. I really can. So I hope he keeps going. And Mbumo and Cunha, Premier League proven, fantastic signings. Super excited to see them. But the fact of the matter is, we still need probably another wing back, a goalkeeper, a striker, and a midfielder. I think you've at least got to cross two of them off this summer. I really do, especially if you're selling Garnacho and Anthony and Sancho, which we will. I truly do believe that we will. I think Amrim's answer in the press conference about how he, you know, we're ready for the players to come back if the number isn't met. I thought it was a fantastic answer. Great PR for United. I think it'll help them get better deals for these players. The players want to go and play in the World Cup. They want to at least have that opportunity. They don't want to be sitting in the reserves all season. And it tells other clubs, we are willing to do that if you don't pay the money that we want. You think you can wait until the last weeks of the window? It's not going to happen that way. And I thought Amrim coming out and say that did the club a massive, massive favour. If you get in some money for them, you've paid initial instalments in Mbumo and Cunha. There is money there to be spent. Larmans is probably going to cost you around 15 mil. It's not a lot. It's a competitive number two that can eventually compete with Onana and potentially could be our number one if he's as good as what people are making out. I'm not saying he is. Let's see. Striker, I think you look at the market and you say, we dropped the ball with a striker. I think you come up with your hands up in the air and you say, we dropped the ball with a striker. It was our priority position. We messed up Delap. We messed up Gyökeres, and there's not really left. We didn't end up getting Ekatike because Liverpool beat us to it and have more money, and there's not really another option on the market that absolutely suits us now that we're willing to spend massive money on. So instead, we are going to go and get that all-action midfielder that Ruben Amorim wants. That's what we're going to do. And I don't think there's any shame in doing that, but go and at least back the manager. Go and at least back him with something he wants, and he wants an all-action midfielder. Go and do it. Or the other option is taking that risk and going for a Sesko or a Watkins, because that's what it is right now. With the striker market the way it is going for a Watkins or a Benjamin Sesko. That is where you go to. You've got Newcastle, who are going to go all in for Benjamin Sesko, and you've got Ollie Watkins, who's going to be very expensive for a player that's going to be 30 in December. Now, I've said on this show multiple times, Ollie Watkins would be my pick. I think he would be transformative. I think he would be brilliant. However, Ineos and Sir Jim, I don't think it's their model to go and spend 60 mil on a player that's going to be 30 in December. I think if he was 40, they'd think about it, and I don't think Villa are going to back down on that valuation. I don't. And they've still got to have time to go back into the market. So as much as I'd love Ollie Watkins, I don't think United are doing that for 60 mils. I just don't. And he'll want a decent wage on top of that as well. And then you've got Benjamin Sesko. And this is the latest on what Fabrizio Romano said about Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle to make an official bid and are waiting for Benjamin Sesko to see what the player wants to do. But Newcastle will go big on Benjamin Sesko. Let's see what Man United try to do on the Sesko, and if they want to try on this or decide to move for a different target. And on that, I would say, straight off the bat, I don't think we're getting Sesko. And even if we were in a position where Sesko said, look, Newcastle, thank you for your interest, but I want Manchester United, I want to go there, and Leipzig, I know Newcastle are offering you the 70 million you want, but I want to go to United. I still think United, it's a huge risk dropping 70 million on an he's not actually inexperienced, because he's played in the Champions League and he's played a lot of games for Leipzig and in his career, but on a player that doesn't have Premier League experience and still, in my opinion, has a lot of potential to fulfill and isn't the finished article. I've watched him multiple times. I don't think he's the right fit for us right now. He might go to Newcastle and tear it up. He's probably going to have a fantastic career, but United need to be sure if they're dropping 70 million. And if you're going to go and drop 70 million on Sesko, I would rather put a package together for around 80 million for Baleba, maybe 70 million plus add-ons, instalments, and go to Brighton and try our luck, because you know he can do it in the Premier League. You know he's exactly what Amorim needs. I think United need to not take risks right now in the transfer window, considering our cash flow and where we're at. So that's where I've kind of come to my conclusion, and I think you can get by in the season with Bruno, Mbeumo and Cunha having that floating front three, and hoping to God that Xerxes kicks on and goes on to be what we think he's going to be. So that's my stance on that, everyone. Mateta is one that I keep seeing in the comments. I'd love Mateta. I probably think he's our best shout. 27, 28, I think it's a brilliant age to bring a player in. I think Premier League proven again, bullies defenders, gets you up the pitch, good link-up play, but there's just no murmurs about Crystal Palace being open to selling him, and nothing there. And, you know, Man United, we really need to up our game in terms of selling players. I saw today Luis Diaz go to Bayern Munich for 75 million euros. Okay, he's come from a Premier League winning side, but 75 million euros for a 28-year-old? I mean, Luis Diaz is good, but he's not Mo Salah. Like, he's a good player, but wow, 75 million euros, and we're struggling to scramble 40 together for Garnacho, who is 20 years old. And I think Luis Diaz is a better player, and he's obviously got a Premier League title to his name, but Garnacho's got a lot of potential, and he's had a lot of appearances for a Manchester United side and scored in some big games and big moments. But I suppose attitude and behaviours are big. But United need to up the game. Liverpool could be in a position where they get like 140 million for Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz combined. Like they're going to replace them with Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike. Like, it's just a different ball game. United need to up that level. And people saying, oh, there's no way we're getting Baleba. Why not? We're Manchester United. We attracted Mbeumo, we attracted Cunha over the likes of Newcastle, who've got Champions League football. We'll probably attract Sesko over Newcastle. I'm going to be blunt. He follows us on socials. We've been scouting him for 3 years. We have a relationship with his agent, and Manchester United are a bigger club. However, Newcastle have the money from Isak, are going to have the money, over 100 million, and they're going to go all in. And I don't think United are in the position to take that risk of that much money. I just don't think we are right now. And Sesko could go on to be the best thing since sliced bread, but that doesn't mean it would have worked out that way at United. We need proven, we need signings that are definitely going to work. And that's just my stance on it. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, what being out here and what, you know, even you guys, you know, all around the world watching the pre-season tour, what these games can tell you and give you a little bit of insight into it, of where our priorities really do lie and what we think and think. Opinions can change. The transfer market can change things. So get in the comments down below what you think and what you would do. Because I really am interested to see if anybody else is feeling this way and anyone else's opinions or stance has changed. Which should United sign? 54% say striker, 46% say Baleba. So still the majority of you are going on the striker front, so I've not been able to fully convince you. Maybe people who wake up around the world watching the show late doors might agree with me. If you do believe that, please comment it, because we're a community and I want to read out your opinions about why you think a striker is more important than a midfielder, because I've explained my point of view and this is a community. And while I'm doing that, by the way, I just want to say a massive shout out to everybody who came and interacted with us at the game at the MetLife Stadium yesterday in New Jersey. It was absolutely fantastic. It really was. To meet you guys, to interact with you guys, the interviews are coming. My next job is to edit them. There were some great voices being heard, some great opinions. And sometimes, you know, when you're just talking to a camera, you forget how many people, you know, around the world are watching and are involved in this community. And we appreciate you all, and we wouldn't be here without you. We wouldn't be in a position to come and follow United on tour without all you guys watching us. And for us to bring you that content, I feel privileged, I really do. And to meet you all, it was really humbling and lovely. And we've got a brilliant community worldwide, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. I really do. It makes everything worth it. Like, for example, our flight was delayed going to New Jersey. We sat in the airport for hours. It was delayed coming back. We're running on like 3 hours sleep, me and Ryan. Connections going. You're trying to get stuff sorted, but it's the best job in the world, and I never want to complain about it, because it's so enjoyable to get to follow your club around the world. And despite the fact we finished 15th, despite the fact that we're not where we need to be, I don't want to give false hope, and there's a lot to work on, and I'm not expecting miracles next season, but I do believe that Amorim has got us going on the right track. And just to give a little bit of insight into what I've seen, to kind of wrap up the show while I'm waiting for your comments to come in, smash a like on the video, by the way, is I watched the training and it was literally being like next to the players. It was like them being sat here. And I can understand, Mark takes the mick a little bit with Lean FC, but Luke Shaw is in the fittest shape I've ever seen. I don't want to get carried away. Like I said, I lost all hope with Luke Shaw, like that season where he was fit for the Euros but not fit for us. Lost all hope. He looks like the fittest I've ever seen him. He looks chiselled. Kobbie Mainoo looks absolutely ripped. Casemiro ripped. All of them look like they've dropped weight and are in top physical shape. I think this might be the first season in a very long time where the opposition doesn't outrun us, doesn't outwork us. Remember Amorim's quote, my team needs to work like mad dogs. And I think we will be doing that. I think Amorim's seriously putting them through it. They were all training again after the game yesterday, by the way. They're all training. Anyone who didn't play like over 70 minutes was fully training at the MetLife, putting through their paces. Amorim's he's not taking this lightly. It's not just a tour where, you're doing it for money and commercial reasons. Obviously that is a part of it, but it seriously is fitness based, and I think this is the most seriously we've took a pre-season in a very long time. I'm expecting results from that. I think we already started to see results from that in the West Ham game. And yeah, I think even as a manager, right, if you're Ruben Amorim, he's clearly had them all on a massive fitness regime. If you're Ruben Amorim, I'd be saying to these players, and I think he might have done, look at Ruben Amorim, he looks like he's in the gym every day, he's jacked. He is. He would be saying to these players, I'm your manager, I'm 40 years old, I'm not walking around here in better shape than you, so you better get up to speed or else you're not part of my team. And that's the difference. I'm not saying we've got the most talented squad in the league. I'm not saying, everything's sunshine and rainbows, but what I am saying is the foundations are being laid for a fitter squad that is more able to compete physically at the top end of the spectrum in terms of the physicality and the athleticism than what we've had before. Like, for the last few years, we've started the season being not up to speed, not fit enough, not looking in shape, and being outworked, outran by other teams that we're up against. And it's really does. It puts you in the worst possible position. It puts you right on the back foot when you're trying to win football games. Other teams might have players with higher ceiling than us potentially, but what Amorim is absolutely making sure of, what he can control, is no team's going to run more than us, no team's going to be fitter than us, and you're at least laying down them foundations, and that does put you in good stead. We need to back him. I'm not letting the club off. I'm not saying, Kinu and Mbumo, that's it, you don't have to go for a striker now that they're all off the market. What I'm saying is, now that there's not a striker that's absolutely 100% bang on the money, they should be our striker. Go in for that midfielder. Spend the money there. Still spend the money, because you've got to back this manager in his first summer transfer window. You really do. You do. I know there's not loads of cash flow, but you do have to back him. Still spend the money and help him to continue to build this squad, because you can't ignore the fact that we came 15th. You can't ignore the fact that that squad is capable of the more of 15th. And Amorim, whether he gets another sign or not, is going to be under scrutiny next season. Like he is, because that squad is not a 15th place squad. Even now, without any more signings, I expect us to be challenging for European football. And if that doesn't happen, there's serious questions. But also, when you're changing a team so much, you're changing the system drastically, you do have to go out and back this manager, and we need to continue to do so. We need to make sure we're getting a goalkeeper. Absolutely. That was the big consensus to be. Honestly, when these clips come out, that was the big consensus from everyone, is we need a keeper and midfielder. Midfielder is the big money signing for me now. Get in the comments what you guys think. By the way, it's typical, isn't it, right? So we did another live stream because the other one got cut off by connection. On this live stream, I don't know if you can hear it, I don't know if the mic's been doing its job, it has been siren central. I can't even hear myself speak. I don't know what's going on. We're in Chicago, I don't know. what's going on, but there is sirens going left, right and centre, so I don't know what's happening, like, out there. I don't know, but I hope that the noise has been okay for you guys. Is this water? Prosecco! No way! Cheers, everybody. Wait. Cheers. Oh, okay. Well, that is lovely to hear that the IO Roofscape at the Godfrey Hotel in Chicago has now provided me with thirst-quenching Prosecco to finish off the show. By the way, the amount of people that have like come up to us and said, you know, we're watching this live, we're like, where are you doing the live show? We want to go and visit it. It is the IO Roofscape at the Godfrey Hotel in Chicago, and they've been absolutely fabulous. And I will keep talking about it because the service has been brilliant. It's got a brilliant view of Chicago. The vibes are really, really good. The food, I've not had it yet, but it looks really nice. It looks power, and just the ambience and everything. Like, they've got big screens on in there. They've got good music. I would definitely, if you're in the area, come and have a visit, and you might bump into us. You never know. We are going to be spending some time here. Taste test for the Prosecco. Oh yeah, that hits the spot. Honestly, guys, after a long day of traveling, I'm literally running about 4 hours sleep. That goes down very, very smoothly. Very smoothly. Where are you watching from in the world? What time is it? Are you also enjoying a celebratory glass of Prosecco with me right now? Let me know. Things are looking up, you know. Live streams actually worked. I've got a piece of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory to go back to in my hotel room. And yeah, honestly, Cheesecake Factory, by the way, guys. I don't know how many of you are watching live from America, because I'm assuming we're hitting mainly the US audience right now, considering it's 10 to 10 over in Chicago time, and I think that's nearly 4 in the morning back at home in the UK. So wherever you are, you might be in a different time zone. You might be from anywhere all over the world. I saw there's a few people watching from the UAE before. Great. Let us know where you are, what you're doing. But the Cheesecake Factory, one meal, right? One meal could feed a family of 4. I'm not joking. Genuinely. It was madness. You honestly, you're gonna have to wheel me out of these places soon. So, like I said, if anyone wants to send me a fitness plan through for when I get home, that would be greatly appreciated. But no, I'm being serious. Like, we are just loving the vibes here. The people are absolutely lovely. Our audience is fantastic. And anything you want us to do while we're out here, by the way, let us know. I'm really thinking about doing the I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to do a live show. You don't need to show everyone that you're in a sports car revving your engine. Thank you very much. We understand you drive a sports car. Everybody knows it. You don't need to rev it. But as I was saying, I'm thinking of doing the architecture boat tour. Apparently it's meant to be amazing. I was speaking to a lovely group of people up on the other rooftop we did the live show from the other day, and they were saying you have to do the architecture boat tour while you're in Chicago. So thinking about doing that. And I'm thinking while we're there, we could film some content as well, which would be quite cool. You know, kind of show people. Do you know what? People are being very, very rude tonight. Kind of show people like the sights of Chicago whilst, you know, talking about United and maybe doing some kind of interactive content from there. So let me know what you think about that. Oh, we've got some comments coming in here. I didn't know if we'd get as many people watching the second live because we did a whole live show, if you didn't know, and the internet interrupted it, so we had to do it again. But it was so nice, so we had to do it twice. That cringed me out. But anyway, the Duke says, goalkeeper, defender and midfielder is more important than a striker, I feel. Even if we get a defender and put Martinez in the midfield, I think Martinez in the midfield is a pipe dream. Will Martinez start, by the way, if everyone's fit? That's a question for you. Buzz Killington says, I would have read that out if it wasn't for Ryan behind the screen going, no, don't. Nearly had me. I'll stick to my Prosecco, thank you very much. Jordan Hall says, need a striker and Bruno is not right for the system. We won't change in midfield until Bruno is not in the team. What do you think, Beth? I thought Bruno... I mean, I just watched the game from the press box yesterday and I thought Bruno was fantastic. I thought he took his goals brilliantly. I thought he worked back really well. I thought he was creative. I thought he was linking up beautifully. But then I had a little chat with Ricky today. I'll bring in So I sent him this that I saw on Twitter. It was Bruno versus West Ham. We are judging his overall performance here. He lost the ball / took low IQ decisions 14 times out of 30 actions. 14 out of 30. 45% wasted possession. So I sent that Ricky and I was like, I thought he had a good game, but that stat, like, you can't ignore it. And Ricky said, and believe me, some of his supposed good passes or completed passes, which are what they count, won't have been that good. I saw at least twice he took the wrong option but still completed a pass. And I can't recall these. I was on the beer, but it's always the case with him. Some won't have been at the right moment or with the right weight or into a person's stride. Obviously, Ricky's very, very picky when it comes to Bruno. He is, like, I think he gives him too much of a hard time. And I truly do believe that Bruno is a fantastic player, one of the best in our team. But it's an interesting thought, and I can understand why people have it. The Duke says the Premier League's the midfield battleground. Weak midfield cost us goals on both sides, the offence and the defence. Defenders need to be rugged and alert in the midfield. Duke, couldn't agree with you more. I do think games are won and lost in the midfield, and I'm really kind of coming round to that more and more. Constantine says, hi Beth, in your opinion, rank the top 3 best looking players in our squad today. I'm not doing that. This is an established football channel, and we're not basing players off their appearance. What I would say is if he was Goldbridge, he could do that without anyone blinking an eye. But if I did it, everyone would be like, oh my God, Beth fancies this person, Beth fancies that person. I mean, I said Mason Mount was a good footballer, and people say I fancy him because of that. It's just ridiculous. So no, I'm not doing it. So yeah, but anyway, I would have done it for a laugh if people wouldn't take it out of context. Xavier C says, so sad I missed you guys yesterday at the MetLife. Spent over an hour looking for the United stand. Will you meet fans in Atlanta? GGMU. Very, very sad we missed you. We met loads of you. You were all fantastic. We will be in and around I think it's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We absolutely will. And I'll post in our stories where we're going to be. Because I think I failed to do that yesterday. I did post it, but I don't think it actually went through until I got inside. But I will make sure I post it when we're in Atlanta, and even Chicago as well at the Soldier Field if anyone wants to meet us. And we will be meeting up with people and trying to get you on the channel as well. I've got loads of content to put out from you guys and your opinions as well. Rufus Rooftop Rucker says, come on United, first super chat, thank you very much. Sagribo says, what about Javi Guerrera? I've looked at it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a little bit of a fan dream. And Rooftop Rucas, thank you very much for and welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Siraj Chowdhury says, hi Beth, so refreshing to have the United Stand live at 8 AM Indian time. I feel United should go for a midfield and a goalkeeper if we can't get a decent striker. I completely agree with you. And that is the whole point, is bringing content to our worldwide audience. We feel it. We feel the love everywhere we go. We feel how amazing this community is. And we absolutely love and cherish our UK audience, of course we do. But our worldwide audience is so prominent, is so massive. And we're just a massive, massive community, and we want to be able to hit everybody on every single time zone, and that's our goal, that's our aim. So anyway, cheers to that. What's the poll on as I finish up? Can you tell me?
55 striker.
55 striker. I didn't manage to convince you. Gutted. Maybe people waking up all over the world might see my point of view. But look, everyone, I don't know if they can hear that. He's crazy. If any, I want to hire a car now and start ragging it around. Honestly. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Just like Mark with the pineapple man, I've had cars trying to interrupt our live stream, but we got there in the end. It was great to speak to you all. Absolutely loved it. Thank you to everyone, and make sure to smash a like on the video and comment. If you enjoy this sort of content, comment and let us know, because it helps us to bring it to you more and gives us that encouragement to keep doing it for you guys if the want for it is there. So I love it. I hope you guys love it too. Thank you again to the IO Roofscape for allowing us to use this beautiful space to connect to our audience, and thank you for the gorgeous Prosecco as well. Cheers to another win on Wednesday, and I will see you guys on the next one.